Let's see. I think I'll fix some spaghetti tonight.
Now how you gonna open that jar when your wrist is too sore to turn a doorknob?
Ouch! Why are these lids always screwed on so tight?
Put down the jar, pick up the phone, and call for a pizza.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age, keeping you from doing the things you always used to do. Yet a lot of people in pain decide to fight for their mobility and regain their lives. To read their stories and find your own inspiration, visit anationinmotion.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
The odds of a young girl being discovered by an industry insider while singing to herself pumping gas? 1 in 300 million. The odds of the daughter of a clergyman from Severn, Maryland spending 11 weeks at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of selling over 40 million records? 1 in 800,000. And the odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen.
Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
All of us want to make a difference.
Regional World Entertainment presents The Booth. Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DaBooth312, broadcasting off WIT 88.9 FM Chicago, DaBoothRadio.com, and Classic House Radio. Hopefully you guys doing all right out there and checking out us on our social media sites. If you haven't already, make sure you guys like, share, and follow. We got a great show lined up for you today. We got an old guest that has finally come back, and we're happy to have him back in the studio. Vincent R. We'll be finding out about his new tracks. We'll get to hear a little bit about the new releases and what he's got going on. So it'd be great to catch up with him. Also, we got Dave C. in the studio. Will be working with us, talking to us. We'll be telling you what Dave C. will be doing later on this month. You got my brother in arms right here, Ron Tinsley. He'll be throwing down for you guys later on. And, of course, yours truly, DGRTW, Rob Waite. So Ron and I will be throwing down for you today for the resident sets, and we'll be bringing you guys some great new sounds. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Also, we're going to try to tap into a little bit of a controversial issue that we've talked about in the past here, where Trax Records, if you guys are familiar with Trax Records from Chicago here, has just finally got sued. But we've been talking to artists for years about that and about the issues and everything going on. We've had, if you watch one of our previous episodes, the owner, Screaming Rachel, we've had her on the studio as well, in the studio, and had her on air, and we talked to her. So you guys go check out some of those old episodes as well. But we'll be talking about that. So it's finally coming out that multiple artists are, finally filing a suit against her and the label for all the issues and with Larry Heard and everything. So we'll be talking about that. Rolling Stone was gracious enough to get that story out to us, so we appreciate that. All right, but we're going to start it off with, like we usually do. We want to get into the round table, and we'll shoot it over to Ron Tinsley real quick. Ron, what's going on with you, brother?
I'm good, and I'm going to throw this handoff right over to our brother.
Hot potato.
Right over to Dave C., because we got some announcements of some upcoming events. I'm quite sure that our guest, Vincent R., has some events that he's going to be talking about as well. But we're going to start off today with Dave C. How you doing, brother? Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
It's been
haven't been gone that long.
It's been we didn't have the show last week due to the Chicago Marathon.
Yes. Which is a nightmare here, by the way, for those that don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Parking-wise and getting into the certain parts of the city, like to get to the station, is hard because they got all the streets blocked. But you weren't on the week before, so
yes.
That's what
Unfortunately, I had some commitments. But yeah, it's good to be back, everyone. Hello. Thank you guys for tuning in. The only real major event that I have coming up is October 29th, Summer of George Boat Cruise for the PB&J guys. It's a Halloween costume contest. It's an afternoon cruise, 5 p.m. to about 8 or 8:30. And if you go on my Facebook page, there's a link to the tickets.
Okay. All right. And how much do you know what the cost? What's the cost of the tickets?
I want to say it's $40.
Are there still tickets available for that?
There are there's a few.
Okay.
And actually, considering that it's October, late October, and it's
On the
a little
water.
bit chilly,
Right.
Yes, but tickets are selling really good.
That's
Okay,
good.
good.
Are there any costume contests?
There is. Don't ask me what the prizes are.
Are they more than what the DJ's getting paid?
Possibly.
That's a big thing right now.
Possibly.
Always a topic, isn't it?
That's a hot topic, isn't
Always
it?
a topic.
That's
Yeah.
a big one right now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's never been my issue. My fee's my fee. You either pay it or you don't want me.
Absolutely,
I mean,
right.
It's just that simple. You know what you're getting with me, and that's it.
All right. Well, what I have to announce, there's a couple of events. Number one, I'm going to talk about our mutual friend here, House 13, is tag teaming it up with Chris Lar from House of Soul, DJ Jess, Tony Techniques, and Numo Dan.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be at the Red Barrel, and this is called Dark Skin. No pun intended. It's called Dark Skin. It's the pre-Halloween party, October 22nd. That address is 5214 South Archer Avenue, Chicago. It is like I said, a pre-Halloween party, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Again, that address is 5214 South Archer, the Red Barrel in Chicago. Yours truly will be playing, and I'll have the promos out this week when I get them, but I'll be playing over at the 87th Street Cinema at the lounge that's inside the cinema there before you go in to check out whatever movie you're going to watch. You'll catch me and Obatala playing there next Sunday from 6 to 10 p.m. So again, I'll announce it more then, but the bigger event that's coming in November.
November 5th, right?
November 5th, Barnyard Boogie. Yours truly will be playing at the Barnyard Boogie. Finally get a chance to do that with Thomas Kelly. And we're going to have Thomas Kelly and one of the other founders of the Barnyard Boogie come on the show on the 28th to talk about Barnyard Boogie and what it's all about. And our good friend, my best friend, one of my best friends, sitting right across from me, Vincent R, he knows about Barnyard Boogie and knows about those guys, Thomas Kelly and all those guys that put that together. So welcome to the booth.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
Oh, wait. I forgot. I jumped the gun. Hold on before we get into events. Mr. RTW, what do you have to announce? What's coming up for the booth or you with the booth?
Well, we're in talks right now. It hasn't been set in stone yet, but we have Halloweening come on October 29th as well. So I guess, if you're not able to get on the boat or you're afraid of the water, you can always party on land at Halloweening. Check it out. Autonomous is really hosting that, and they're doing a great job with that major event. You got multiple stages going on with that one. I believe it's 4 stages for that event. A lot of great DJs and artists going to be throwing down for that one. I mean, there's a lot of them. I can keep listing names, but there's just so many there. It's not finalized for us yet to be there or myself to be playing. We're still in talks with that. I know we're getting close to it. So we'll see. Emily, if you're watching, hit me up. Let me know, what's up.
I won't be able to be there because I'm going to be moving. But yes, Rob will be able to be there. So go ahead and lock that in so we get the booth member to play that event since Dave's got a water cruise going on and you're going to be available. You can go down there and throw it down in Crete. And I'll be moving in and getting ready for Barnyard Boogie. So I'll be doing my move during that time frame. So now that we've got everything covered.
Wait, I thought there was more on the list.
There is, but that's your segment.
He's waiting until you start talking, and then he's going to say,
one more thing.
Exactly, right?
So without further ado, our good friend, Vincent R. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Just been grinding away each and every day. You know how it goes.
Yep.
That's what we do. So, but a lot of good things going on in the background. I've been working on I haven't been as active on social media, but that don't take that for nothing's going on. I walk quietly, and then things will pop up. So you see how that happens.
I mean, you were just on a rooftop party last week with our good friend, mutual friend, John Joshua Lopez. How did that go?
That was great. It's great. It's a nice house venue there at Cerise Rooftop, so it was a joy to get up there and play there and see the city.
I couldn't make it that night. I really wanted to. It was a last minute thing. I was like,
let me tell you, it gets harder and harder to get out on a weeknight to go do things when I have a pretty busy schedule. So,
well, you just turned 50. I'm about to turn 50. And it is getting harder as you get older. That sleep, that bedtime, you're like,
Sleep, I don't know what sleep is, but I mean.
I was just telling around before we got in the air. I said Friday, I was up 22 hours straight, and it hits you differently as you get older.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, January I started a new job, so it's been a lot more hectic. I'm now management where I work, so a lot more stress. So that it just puts a lot on you, when you're in that position. Because you never know when you're going to get that call, in the middle of the night. Oh, I can't make it in, So there's a lot of things to consider when you manage a business. So a lot of moving parts, especially when you're open 7 days a week.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let's get into what new projects have you spawned off that's about to jump off that you're going to introduce today?
So I've been quietly working in the studio. I have been able to get a couple tracks signed, so I've been more focused on more organic house with like a mixture of melodic house and progressive tones to it. So
we've talked about the many different genres here, and I've mentioned recently, leading up to you coming up here, about organic house. I played an organic house set here. Can you tell the audience since this is a new genre, what is organic house and what is it?
It's not old school?
It's not old. It's not old. It's organic, not old.
Yeah,
organic.
Now
think of Whole Foods.
Yeah. No, I think organic is. I think that through the progression of music, I think we just see these terms kind of rebranded almost initially, essentially, because you can think of almost like organic house as a form of tribal, right? It's all percussion based, but using a lot more instrumentation that happens to be more natural, more organic in nature, right? You're thinking of bongos and nays and flute sounds, anything that's got a more organic instrumentational sound to it, not your I think this is your phrase, that bleep bloop techno kind of sound, Okay.
You know
what I'm saying? It's not so much like a manufactured type of sound, right? So you're using a lot more of these organic sounds.
Organic acoustics.
You got your organic down tempo, which is, anywhere from like 118, 122, which is a little bit of the realm that I'm in. So it's a little bit more chill. It's going to have like those desert vibes that you hear at Burning Man, beach vibes, stuff that you're going to be able to kind of relax to. Depending upon how you make your music, tend to use a lot of chord structures in there that are nice and full, that give it this nice emotional feel to it,
Okay. Okay. So what hooked you with organic house?
This goes way back to even when I first got into house music, and Steve Lawler got me in as listening to tribal house, and that's where, it really sucked me in at that point, because that's just what I gravitated towards. And obviously things change. I think it's even hard to even go and search a genre called tribal house now. I think it kind of phased out, and now it's kind of making a resurgence.
It came back, but they didn't
Afro house,
Afro Latin Brazilian now. That's your tribal house.
Put together, yeah.
Right.
So when you do go to a big warehouse like Track Source, and you're looking in there, you will see two Afro house brackets. You're going to see Afro house, and you're going to say Afro, Latin, Brazilian, tribal. So they just haven't called it organic house yet.
Yeah, you go on Beatport, they have an organic down-tempo section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
but that's the difficult part is how music is such an art, right? It's a creation, right? So, even though I may have to put a label on it, it can be very difficult, right? Because you can hear different styles of house music and go, man, why is this under this section? It doesn't sound like that to me as a listener.
Exactly, but that's something we've known. We've noticed that quite often too from producers, where a lot of producers, as yourself, have given us music, and we're very thankful for it. And you'll label it as a certain subgenre or genre, but yet when we go and research it on a track source or a Beatport, they're putting in something completely different.
Absolutely.
And then the masses who don't know, will just say, well, okay, yeah, that's supposed to be techno, but no, they said it's this, so it's got to be this.
Yeah.
But
I go by my ear when I sort my music. I may come across it in a section and go like, man, that doesn't fit the style that I play under this particular category. So I'll put it under the category that feels correct to me.
But then when you have something that's so close to each other, and Ron talks about this all the time, it's about the progressive and then the Afro, and how so many of these subgenres are kind of overlaying and they're melting. It's like a melting pot, coming together. Yeah. It's hard to discern which one is which then.
For sure, because even for myself as a creator, it's like I love these organic instrumentations, but I love these synth sounds that we can, use with that we. Diva has some amazing thick sounding synths that you can put in there, right? So whether you're using it as a bass or a synth layer, I mean, I like those grittier, darker tone synths. So I want to incorporate that into an organic sound. Well, now you got this synth sound that's almost indicative of more progressive styles, but now you're melding it into this. And then you got, chord structures that are very melodic. You got this melodic house structure that's in it. You literally can go to organic, melodic house and techno and progressive and find all things that sound exactly, or not, I don't want to say exactly, but very similar in like what you were talking about in style.
Just like we were saying about progressive house. There's now, it's a subgenre of Afro house. Not progressive, but where I'm going with this, there's now a underground Afro tech section. So it's not Afro, but it's Afro tech. So you got Afro tech, and then when you listen to progressive, you'll hear a lot of the Afro tech that's in progressive that is not in Afro. It's in progressive, but it's Afro tech, and you're like.
Some of that has to be with like the BPM range you'll hear, with some of that and the rhythms that you'll hear in it too, that kind of helps set it apart. Because even when I was shopping for Afro house or going through Afro house stuff, I was finding stuff that spoke to me, and the stuff that I would download from there had synths in it. To me, that's more of like this Afro progressive kind of style, even though it wasn't ever labeled like that, but that's the style that I like. That's, to me, I'm like, if I'm going to play this style out, I'm like, ooh, I like the synths with this Afro style. That's what speaks to me as an artist, to say, oh, this is what I would want to convey to my listeners.
Okay. So what are you conveying to your listeners as of recently? What have you been putting together?
So I've got a track called Aeolian that's coming out December 16th on a label called Yion. And Yion is probably within the top 50 organic labels that are out there right now.
Okay.
So it's huge. This is a big label signing for me. So
well, congratulations.
Thank you. So it's always a journey, because when you're trying to get your music out there, you're trying to crack those doors open, right? And it can be very difficult to get into these big labels, because it's such, you think, man, there's so much music that's released out there. There's so many labels. But when it comes down to it, and you're trying to get into those top percentage labels, you got to just pound the doors. You got to know people to get, crack that door open for you, unless your music is good enough to speak on its own and get discovered, right? So luckily, I got to that point where, this music is able to start opening those doors. And once you're in there, now other labels will see, okay, wow, he's got something on this label. Oh, okay, great, so it starts to open more doors. So this is what I'm hoping is going to be like that next step for me, opening up some more doors to get into some other labels.
Well, I was watching Jimmy Fallon a couple of nights ago, and they had on an artist. I can't think of his name, but the artist was like, they were talking to him on Jimmy Fallon on how he came up with the concept of his album. And what he did was he said, hey, he took a spoon and started tapping on the coffee cup, and they had a synthesizer there, a sampler. They recorded that. He went on the computer, add a bass line to it, and then here's a beat, and then he put a little chord thing together, and just that quick, kind of like what's his face from Careless Records. He was just putting stuff together real quick, and now all of a sudden you got a hot track. And what that does is it shows a lot of, especially the youth, oh man, that's how easy it is to make music? Okay, cool. And they're now...
It may be easy to put sounds together. Making music is a completely different art form.
Thank you for the correction. But that's what
Because I can beatbox, but it may not be pretty, but it's putting sounds together, right?
Right, it's putting sounds together that you'll be like, wow, that really sounded good. And how long did it take you? Oh, I just made that up on the fly.
Yeah.
But for some of these new brainiacs that are out there that haven't been discovered yet, they're doing it with the software of
absolutely
computer.
Everything can be done in the software in a DAW.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're next thing you know, you're the next one-hit wonder guy or girl.
You got plugins like Diva, Nexus. Oh my gosh, there's umpteen others that are always coming out too. So it's just a matter of finding the ones that resonate for you, in the style of music that you're making. And some have better workflows than others, but.
And you might utilize more than one just for the one project.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, and here's the thing that was always, I've seen young artists have so much in a project that you just go, I can't even wrap my head around it. Like sometimes less is more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like literally, some of these kids will have, I've seen 50 tracks to make one song in their DAW. And like, it's like, what are you doing in all those? And you're like, it's just way too much going on. Like, it doesn't need to be that much, right? Sometimes it's just simple. I mean, you look at even taking some of the old school artists. There's a drummer, a guitarist, a vocalist, and a bass. And they made amazing music. Yeah. Why do we have to make things so
We've had duets, we've had quartets, so when you get into the music, you're right. You can do a lot with less.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to have it so elaborate. You don't have to have an orchestra put together to make
That's
a full
after you
sound.
got to that level to when you can say, okay, like Frankie Knuckles did. He made a basic track, and then it was loved so much, and it blew up so much that now he could do that track, play it as a DJ with an orchestra playing along with it to add to it, which when you look at that video, even though that was 20 years ago, that video, it still is mind blowing to have a full orchestra playing with a DJ.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into how many tracks did you bring today to debut?
Well, I brought like 8 of them.
Okay.
A couple of them are released, some are unreleased.
Okay. So we're gonna get into. You want to get into the unreleased ones first?
I'll get into the Aeolian is the first one that's coming out. That's December 16th. On top of that, during this time frame, I've actually launched a collaboration project. My buddy and I, John, have decided to do some collaboration stuff as well. We're doing that under the name Kindred Souls.
Okay.
And so we also produce this culmination of progressive with melodic house. I tended, my stuff is a little bit more on the organic aspect of that. But the stuff that we're doing is a great mixture of all 3 of those genres, right? So, ironically enough, I submitted to Yayan one of our tracks, and they loved it, and they picked it up too. So,
nice.
So I have literally December 16th. They're coming out with a various artists, album for Yayan, and we actually got landed for that one too as well. So
Awesome.
he and I are launching that. I got my own on that. I got another track called Elucidation that's coming out on another label called Keyfound. I don't have the release date just yet on that, but they've picked that up. So that's another big organic label too.
Okay,
Been
so
around for a long time.
Let's get into a commercial right quick while we get those tracks set up so we can play them on the air and let everybody hear how they sound. So stay tuned. You want to take us to a quick commercial there, Rob?
Yeah, we can do that. All right, guys, stick around right here for more to come. When we come back, you guys.
What a fine day to play 9.
When we come back, you guys will be listening to some of Vincent R's latest tracks, so you guys don't want to miss out on that. Stick around right here on DaBooth312 for more to come. For the best sounds of the underground, DaBooth312, broadcast now WIT 88.9 FM Chicago, DaBoothRadio.com, and Classic House Radio.
What a fine day to play 9 holes.
Oh, tap the brakes, pal. Your head says yes. Your bad hip says not so fast.
Come on, a little exercise, some fresh air.
Your hip needs fresh air? Really? Dude, what your hip needs is a fresh hip.
Is your body holding you back?
Let's see. I think I'll fix some spaghetti tonight.
Now how you gonna open that jar when your wrist is too sore to turn a doorknob?
Ouch! Why are these lids always screwed on so tight?
Put down the jar, pick up the phone, and call for a pizza.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age, keeping you from doing the things you always used to do. Yet a lot of people in pain decide to fight for their mobility and regain their lives. To read their stories and find your own inspiration, visit anationinmotion.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
The odds of a young girl being discovered by an industry insider while singing to herself pumping gas? 1 in 300 million. The odds of the daughter of a clergyman from Severn, Maryland spending 11 weeks at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of selling over 40 million records? 1 in 800,000. And the odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen.
Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Regional World Entertainment presents The Booth. Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Booth 312. All right, guys. So as we were talking about, we got Vincent R in the studio, and we're so happy to have him back, and we get a chance, an opportunity to hear some of his newest tracks that will be coming out soon. As we were talking about, Aeolian will be coming out in December, correct, Vince? Yep, so correct, yeah. Make sure you guys look for that. And we'll be playing that here. And again, this is Organic House. Yep. It's a very, very big subgenre of house music now that has been coming around. It's kind of been there in a small sense of how it started and, with the tones and whatnot. But it's definitely blowing up and making a real strong comeback on it.
Before we play that tune, I wanted to just give a shout out, and well, not a shout out, but I want to send a condolences to the Sharp family, Carol Sharp, Denise Sharp. Our hearts and prayers are with you on the loss of your father, from me and the booth here. So, we give you your love and support. So, condolences go out to you and your family on the loss of your father.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So right here, we're going to be playing Vincent R's newest track. That'll be coming out in December. Aeolian, not your Aeola, but Aeolian. Right here in the Booth 312. Check it out.
It does give you something to look forward to.
All right, guys, so you just heard it right here. Aeolian right here by Vincent R will be coming out in December. Make sure you guys are looking for that one. It will be coming out on Beatport, correct?
Mm-hmm, yep.
All right, so make sure you guys look for that. And we'll also be pushing that, and it will be found on DaBooth312.com. So you guys can make sure you check it out and listen to it there and follow the link. So once it is out there for sale, we'll be adding the link to that track so you guys know right away where to go and get it. So that's a great track, great feel, and definitely you could hear the melodic aspect, in the sound, and you definitely hear the organic sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to ask you real quick about that track. So all those sounds, that was all you've had artists come and actually play for all these, or no?
Nope, that's all plugins, baby.
So those are all plugins for that. And that's
what I'm saying.
So it's not really organic.
That's the beauty of it now. And if a lot of it comes down to layering too, right?
Okay.
I mean, because if you're looking at instrumentation and you're playing a note structure in your DAW, it can sound very what we call thin, right? It doesn't have a lot of body to it. It doesn't have that fullness. But if you start layering a sound and the right chord structures and key, then you get this full body. So that flute doesn't sound super thin. It sounds like a full body flute, right? So that's all production stuff. But yeah, that's how to get some of those beautiful sounds to sound like a real instrumentation. Not only that, but some of the plugins that you're using, if you're getting good plugins, will have incredibly clean sounds in them as well.
Okay. So for you guys out there that are watching us on social media right now, first of all, I want to say thank you. We do appreciate you guys following us and supporting us. But let us know if you heard Aeolian. Let us know what you think, because I'm sure Vincent R would be most gracious to know your thoughts, good or bad, what's your feelings on the tracks. I know he probably doesn't care if you don't like it or not, but let us know what you think.
He actually does.
In a way I do, and in a way I don't, right? Because again, you know, music creativity comes down to the fact that this is my creation, you know? And I mean, think about when even us as artists and DJs, as we're shopping for music, how many tracks do we go through that we listen to when you just go, nope, not for me, not for me.
Right.
Some of them are great tracks, but it's not what we're looking for to convey what our sound is, right? As an artist. So, you know, I spend all day doing that. So as you get a little more thick-skinned as time goes on, because you're gonna hear more no's than you are yeses, you know, and it's just the nature of the industry, right? How many demos I send out compared to how many yeses I get.
But if they actually listened to it and they told you no, at least they listened to it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I've been, you know, and you send demos in, and you still get responses from some of these guys that actually do listen to it, and they're like, hey, great production. It's just not what we're looking for, but just keep going because great production.
Yeah.
So.
And eventually, you'll probably put together something that they do like, which in your case, you know, you've had a lot of hits.
It takes a lot of time sometimes to go through and look and see what labels are playing or picking up what kind of artists, what sound they're putting out currently, you know, and trying to match that close to what they're doing so you can get in that door, right? Capture their attention, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely a great producer, great artist, and I'm so happy that things are going well for you and moving in the right direction. So, and as you guys can hear, I mean, he's definitely got a great sound to him. So, you guys are you're doing a great thing, not only by yourself, Vincent, but, you know, the collabs you're doing with other artists as well. So, you guys are definitely doing some great jobs, great things. So, what other track you want? What's next on the list? What do you want them to hear?
There's another one, Elucidation.
So you always go these names, these tongue twisters, you know.
You know, it's when you sit there and it's like, because I don't want him. I want him to have, you know, when you search this one has a nice, beautiful vocal in it, right? And in the vocal, she talks about having answers, right? So I'm sitting there and I go, I don't want to call this song Answers, like, you know, it's too plain. How does it speak, right? I want a title that's going to speak to somebody that looks at it and goes, oh, what is elucidation, right? Even the name itself can make you go, let me click on this just and play, just so I can see what it's about, right? So elucidation is just like another synonym for answers, right? So
okay,
nice.
So what's the sound? This is another organic.
This will be another organic. This is This is a lot more down tempo with a vocal in it. It gives it a very nice feel. It's got a female vocal in it, so it's done really well. So. And
who, if you don't mind us asking, who did the vocal on this one?
This is the sample. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But myself and I do a lot of production with my collaboration partner John as well. So, and kudos to him. He just recently got one of his tracks signed to Enormous Tunes, which is huge. That's support from Nora on Pure, EDX. He's on, you know, they're playing this track out on XM Chill, you know, so we're on the right path, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing some good stuff.
Yeah, John's very talented, so I love what he does.
Super, yeah. So, and just the fact too that, you know, it's, you know, there's a lot of artists I would love to sit down and collab with, you know, and you're like, man, I think I could vibe with this person, you know, but sometimes it's very difficult to gel in a studio and then be focused on getting certain things done, right? So, he and I have the ability to sit down and knock something out, and we just go, holy cow, we just really knocked out a main part of a track in literally like 3-4 hours. And you're like, okay, so now it's just going back, stop listening to it, come back again. All right, now what do we want to change, right? I think too is, as an artist, you pour your heart into what you're doing, and sometimes when you get feedback from other people, you know, everybody has their own perception of stuff, and sometimes it's very hard to go, man, I put so much into that, and somebody didn't like this certain aspect of it, or I could have done this different. And you have to shelve the ego at times and kind of go, okay, all right, think about it. This is a listener, and they're giving you feedback. This is a high-end producer who's giving you feedback, right? What can I learn from this feedback from that, right? Do I hear what they're asking, or what they're saying? Hey, you could do this, or could you move this, you know, stereo field a little bit more, right? And you just try to go okay. And then you go back and you play with it and you go, man, it sounds better, right? And you're like, okay, now I just learned a little bit more about what they're listening to, right? especially if you're trying to get that music to a higher caliber label, right?
Absolutely.
Because the whole thing is there's tons of music out there.
Yeah.
We go through shopping for music. I can't, pet peeve, when I'm playing a track and viewing it, and the waveform is like, I got to squint to see the waveform.
Yeah.
Like, how the heck did this get out and released in this way? Like, it doesn't even look like it's been properly mastered, right?
Yeah, I got some songs that really
You know what I'm saying?
are good
I see a lot
songs,
of
but
that.
yeah, I see it. Yeah,
And some of these songs, they come out on big labels, and I'm listening to it, and I'm going, how did that? Why did they?
There's a
say
lot of
that?
tracks.
You
that
know,
I'm
it's
going,
like,
how did this make it?
you listen to it and you're like, man, the low end is so muddy. Like, how did they? Why?
Yeah.
Okay, but you have to sometimes be careful about
absolutely
being critical.
So Vince, Elucidation. When is this one supposed to come out?
This is coming out on Keyfound. They have not given me the actual release date.
So we don't have a date as of yet.
We don't have a
Okay.
date yet, no.
Okay, so we're going to get a chance to hear Elucidation here. Everyone can, again, please give us your feedback if you're watching us on any of our social media platforms right now. Chime in. Let us know what you think of these tracks, because I'm sure our artist here, Vincent R, will definitely love to hear what you guys have to say. So check it out right now, right here on 88.9 FM, the Booth 312, Elucidation.
gravity's got it out for me, keeps pushing me. And when I give into the pull, knocks me off my feet so suddenly. But
Hey, what's going on, guys? All right, if you just tuned in, you missed out on the great track by Vincent R. Elucidation. I definitely, I like the sound on that, the feel, the vocal on it really helped that a lot. I mean, again, another great job, man. I can't wait till that one comes out. Can't wait till we hear a release date on that one. Yeah. So I'd love to see the numbers on that.
Rosalie said she loved it, and again, what we've been pushing on the Booth 312 for some years. I've been on the show for over 5 years, and Rob's vision has been we're going to promote Chicago's artists. And this is one of Chicago's, not just because he's my friend, he's my boy, but this is one of Chicago's own right here that should be getting a lot more recognition. So if you're loving it, let's make sure we go out and support, get these tracks when they come out, be looking for them to come out and drop so we can support this guy. Because, you know, this is what keeps this thing we call house music going, when the artists are receiving that love, not just from the DJs, but from those listening to what the DJs play. Yeah. And this could be that track that, you know, a person could be up north or out south. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're in Chicago or not. You could walk up to the DJ.
We got to be in Mexico listening to it on the beach with some tequila, man.
Absolutely.
And go up to the DJ and say, hey, do you have this track by Vincent R or that track by Vincent R? And that person's like, oh, I don't know who that is. Then he's going to start looking, you know.
And as I said something off air, I'll repeat. His production skill
has gone
coming from a let's say freshman of high school producer. He's college senior. I mean, the level. Yeah. Like you talk about layering and just all those things hit home for someone like myself that understands.
Yeah.
And for those that don't, that is listening, you have no idea the kind of effort and experience that goes into making these tracks that he's showing us today.
Yeah. You take for, you know, like sometimes with, like, Alien's a perfect example. Like, you know, originally we had a piano as part of that, and we looked for another sound. I think I spent about 6 hours going through plug-in sounds to find the one sound that I was comfortable, that felt the vibe, that felt like it fit and I could play with in there. You know, so the amount of sometimes the time you go just to find one single sound that you feel fits just right in the mix, right? You know, and I think that when, you know, what I was talking about earlier about being careful how many tracks you put in a production, and if everything has to have its own space in the mix, right? That's where, from a production standpoint, you got to understand EQing, you got to understand the layering, you got to understand where things are fitting and be able to train your ears. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. Yeah. And God bless it, guys, when you're out in the club, wear your darn earplugs, for crying out loud. So if you're going to go into the studio, you can hear what you're actually doing, all right? I mean, God, you do not have to produce with the volume at 80 in the freaking studio, right?
Some people just don't know about sound quality.
Low-level volumes when you're producing, and being able to layer that stuff and get it all even in sound will help your mix down become that much better, right? Because the mastering is, I know people are like, oh, I can't wait to get this mastered. Sitting in the studio and looking at my pre-master, when I drop it in there and I add the master to it, the master is like adding in like 3, 4, maybe 5 dB of sound and just giving me a fat like waveform. There's not much volume difference between a pre-master and the actual master if it's done right, right? If all the production is done right, you don't have to start adding all this compression and stuff, because then you start peaking levels and stuff like that, right? So if it's done right, it's all done right in the mix down.
Well, you're definitely on the right track, brother. I mean, you're definitely doing what you need to do.
I'll have to give you kudos, because this is the guy, when we were in Mexico, had pulled me to the side and said, hey, and no, I have not let that story go. And I won't let that story go, because it made me a better DJ to this day. Basically, Vince pulled me to the side and said, hey, no offense. He didn't say no offense, but no offense. But
I'm going to offend you.
When you're bringing in your next track, why do you bring it in this way? And I had no clue. I was like, well, this is how I was taught to DJ. He's like, mask it. Disguise that new track that you're about to introduce, so it sounds just like it's part of the track that you've already introduced. And I'm like, I thought that's what I'm doing. He goes, no. And I had to really take a back seat, humble myself, because I did get mad. I will admit, I did get mad. I was like,
it's easy to do at times, man, to take.
Well, this guy right here, his approach sometimes is very like that's an he was all pirating.
He made you feel like you suck, is what it was.
Right, he was pirating me, and I'm sitting there like, what are you talking about? This is how I learned how to DJ. But I took that constructive criticism, took a step back, and then re-established myself. It re-established my sound of how I bring in tracks, and I don't slam tracks. God knows no. But it's just that is the presentation. So when you take it from a mixing aspect of a DJ and now you put it into production, that's where he's talking about these layers and he's going into fine details because he's trying to bring you all the best sound in the music that he produces. Just like as a DJ wants to give a great sound when you're on those decks. So what's the next song that you want to say?
So the next song I'll have you guys play is actually called Lost in Isolation. This one's actually getting released on Yion as well. This is the collaboration project with my buddy John and I under Kindred Souls. This one will be coming out on that December 16th on Yion.
Okay, so we're going to get into that track. Vincent R will be this Friday on the Red Lab, this Friday playing with me, and we will be throwing down. You're going to be playing some of these tracks that you're playing today?
On the Red Lab, it depends on what style I'm feeling that night. That's the beauty of it is sometimes I'm feeling like more progressive and sometimes I want to feel down tempo. It just depends on, who my audience is too. I think that's one of the things that DJs understand. If you understand who your end audience is, you kind of want to tailor something to that. You can still make it your own sound, but tailor it to kind of that audience too. So, yeah, I mean, Friday we got the Red Lab coming up. November 5th, I actually happen to be playing as well. Revive Collective is actually going to be hosting our first event at Primary Nightclub. That's right. So we've got Primary November 5th coming up. We've got Akash, Bo, Journey West, and then the headliner will be John Lynx that evening as well.
Bo, what's up? Waiting on you to hit me up, brother, to get you on the Red Lab and bring you back on the booth. It's been a while since you've been on the booth. But all right, so we're gonna get and I wish, depending on what time I play at Barnyard Boogie, I try to get over to Primary. But
no worries.
Let's get into this third track. What was the name of it again?
Lost in Isolation.
Lost in Isolation. You got it ready, Rob?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
just tuning in right now, you missed out another great track by Vincent R. Lost in Isolation, another great sound, great feel, great vibe by Vincent R. Make sure you guys are following him. Even though he hasn't been on social media, I'm sure he checks up on it once in a while. And
I do.
See what you guys are saying.
I lurk in the back.
But make sure you guys follow him and keep up with him. Vince, man, we really appreciate you taking out time to come in the studio with us and share with us all these great releases you got coming up, man.
Appreciate it.
We really appreciate all that. And as always, brother, your family, we love you guys.
Thank you.
You know,
Totally
what you're
proud
doing.
of
And
Totally proud of you.
yeah.
Dude, it's been a long journey. I mean, there's, the world has changed over the past couple of years, but it's also given me a chance to get in the studio, focus on other things, grind away with music. I've even got exposed to, music NFTs now. Now there's music NFTs out there. What they're doing with music and non-fungible tokens, if anybody even knows what that is. Some people don't. I'm actually working with a NFT project that is veteran-based. As you and I both know, we're veterans, and I actually was just asked to help them out a little bit, and now I've become part of the project team for this NFT project. So making different music trailers, music for different trailers, putting together a hip-hop beat for a rap battle that they want to do, and they want to have another artist rap over the beats that we have for the veteran project. So it's supporting veterans, first responders as well. So doing a lot with that. Men's mental health is now all part of that music, on Twitter Spaces and things like that. So I'm being quiet, but laying a nice foundation for things to kind of build from. So
Well, keep us informed about that so we can keep telling people where they can go, especially for veterans out there to have another outlet.
It's huge, man. I mean, sometimes it's literally just as simple as like Tuesday nights we do it as Twitter Space. You hop on Twitter and it's a men's mental health space that men come in there and we kind of use it to chat, share, get stuff out there. You'll find that if you can just get into a space, whether it's Twitter or anything, that you can talk with other men, you'll find out that there's other men out there that have dealt with that same thing, are dealing with it, have found good answers or options for those things that they found difficulty with, that you're not alone, right? 22 veterans are taking their life every day.
Yes.
And it's a sad statistic.
We are getting ready to roll into the holiday season where suicide as a world thing is a big thing at this time of the year. It's especially hits home with the veterans during the holidays. So please keep that in mind. You're going to hear me mention that more as we get closer to Christmas and New Year's. This is the red line, not red lab, but this is the red line time for suicides in the military, suicides worldwide during the holidays. So please keep that in mind. There's too many people that we're losing on a left and right basis, and we need to keep these young folks, these young minds here, because they are tomorrow's future. And the youth, it's not the older folks that are committing suicide, it's the youth. Last but not least, before we let you go, Vince, we need to get together and do a reunion of Cancun when we were down there with John. It's been 4 years since we were down there.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
I know you've been down there more, but I would definitely love to go back down there. Mikasa just kicked off with our good friend, Julius the Mad Thinker and Peace RTG down there. So please safe travels for those guys and everybody that went down to Mikasa to take part of that. But again, we need to get back down to Mexico and do it again.
I've been.
I know.
I sneak down there every now and then.
I know you told me when you got back. I'm like, well, darn, you should let me know. We need to put
this is the
together.
beauty of having some major releases coming out with some big labels as now reaching out to go play at venues and stepping up the style of venues that you're being able to play at, right? And again, it's all marketing at the end of the day, but it's also a great feeling when you can get and play in front of these crowds that truly enjoy the kind of music that you're putting out and whatever it is that you're playing that you choose to be your sound,
Okay. Well,
we're going to be able to make your guest list?
Absolutely, man.
Oh, okay.
Even if I got to pay for it.
Well, watch that. We'll hold you to that because it is recorded. It's
I know.
So thank you again, my brother, for coming and gracing us with your presence, sharing your music with us,
Appreciate
letting
it.
us know. let them know one more time where they can find you and follow you on social media.
And the biggest place is Instagram. If you go to my Instagram and just look at me, I'm at DJ Vincent R on Instagram. My link tree is on there, so you can follow me on there. See my other social medias, Spotify, other platforms. I have it all linked on my Instagram.
Follow them so you can get those release dates, and you can purchase these new hot tracks that are about to come out. So thank you again, Vincent R, for stopping by. I know you got to get up out of here soon. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. RTW is going to take us out to a couple of commercials, pay some bills, and we'll be back with our brother, Dave C, on the ones and twos, throwing down for you in a few minutes. Take us to commercial, Rob.
Thank you, sir. All right, guys, stick around right here for more to come on the Booth 312, broadcasting off WIT 88.9 FM Chicago, DaBooth312.com, and Classic House Radio.
There's been a rumor going around my school lately about a new draft, so I decided to check out the facts. Turns out there is no draft, and if there ever was going to be one, we'd have plenty of notice. But you know what else I found out? Young men like me still need to register with Selective Service when we turn 18. Why register when there's no draft? Well, first off, it's the law. Guys have had to register for almost 60 years. Second, if you're a guy living in the U.S. and you don't register, you get shut out of important opportunities like college loans, job training, good jobs, and even a driver's license in most states. But I guess for me, I register because it's the right thing to do. Things are crazy in this world right now. And if the country ever does decide it needs me, I'm going to do my part.
Guys, register with Selective Service when you turn 18. Go to sss.gov or your local post office.
If you're a guy turning 18, you need to register with the Selective Service System. It's the law, and we wanted to make absolutely sure you get the message, so we brought in someone we knew you'd pay attention to.
50 push-ups!
Hey, Coach.
Get on that computer! sss.gov! Not fast enough! 50 jumping jacks!
It's for your own good, because not registering with Selective Service could cost you a shot at college loans and grants, federal jobs, job training, and in most states, it could even cost you a driver's license.
I'm talking to you! Run that hill! 50 hills!
Go to sss.gov to register with Selective Service. 2 minutes and you're done. It's just something you have to do.
Pick up the pace! 50 ballet jumps over the alligator pit!
Register with Selective Service at sss.gov within 30 days of turning 18. If you don't, the consequences could be ugly.
Don't you smirk at me! 50 belly flops into moving traffic!
Regional World Entertainment presents The Booth Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth.
Their hearts are open and their spirits soar because they are free. Because they are free.
Make some noise. Front to the back. Feel the energy rush, 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 rush. Front to the back. Feel the energy rush, 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 rush. Make some noise. Front to the back.
Reaching the World Entertainment presents The Booth. Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth.
Like I clenching her teeth. Life goes on, it gets so heavy. The wheel breaks the butterfly. Every tear a waterfall. In the night, the stormy night, she closed her eyes. In the night, the stormy night, away she flies.
day and night. People getting down, that's right. From AM to PM. Everybody looking like stars. All the chicks and the fellas in the bar. All of y'all bumping this in your cars. From AM to PM.
I've been fucking hoes and popping pillies, man, I feel just like a rock star. All my brothers got that gas and they about it. Sometimes I'm just lying. It's all the time. I found out the way to your heart. I found myself completely lost. Whatever, it doesn't matter, we fine. I don't need to live without a good time. Don't know why you be wrong. Fuck it, we're young, it's just fun. It's all off, just a touch, innocent, vibrant. Wake up, you're tired, horizontal, be just friends, just friends. Maybe one drink, nothing too far, so far. Then the stars say you fall in love, no, we don't say much as we lay here, we just friends, just friends.
Regional World Entertainment presents The Booth. Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth.
walking fearlessly, but now I fly. I hear your voice deep in the water. With you, everything is worth a try. I feel your love. You are my shelter. You're the home, my reason.
When the mixology is happening and the lights are raging. When the bass is pumping and the room is shaking. When the vibes are deliberate and you understand that it's from this moment on that you are not just out. When the energies combine and the universes and the things feel great. When you look at your friends and vibes are connecting because you're all elated. I love that feeling of being inside a club, an institution, a body, a place I love. For bodies they turning, we're swirling to lights and dance.
Let's talk about Afro House. It is time to speak about Afro House. The drums, the sound, the drums of Afro House. It's like drums of the First World War, shaking everybody's eardrums. Are you ready to fight the war without guns? Life is important. Take care of your guns. This horse is never ending. amazing. And it's never fading. So keep on working. Keep on making. Keep on producing.
What a fine day to play 9 holes. Oh, tap the brakes, pal. Your head says yes. Your bad hip says not so fast.
Come on, a little exercise, some fresh air.
Your hip needs fresh air? Really? Dude, what your hip needs is a fresh hip.
Is your body holding you back?
Let's see. I think I'll fix some spaghetti tonight.
Now, how you gonna open that jar when your wrist is too sore to turn a doorknob?
Ouch! Why are these lids always screwed on so tight?
Put down the jar, pick up the phone, and call for a pizza.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age, keeping you from doing the things you always used to do. Yet a lot of people in pain decide to fight for their mobility and regain their lives. To read their stories and find your own inspiration, visit anationinmotion.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
The odds of a young girl being discovered by an industry insider while singing to herself pumping gas? 1 in 300 million. The odds of the dog